Okay, so for this assignment, there's a lot of things you'll need to do, but before I get into that video, let me explain render passes versus render layers. So this is a scene I set up, and I rendered it out as an EXR for you already, but this is how it's set up. So in Blender, we have collections. And they're really powerful once you get into post-production. But in this case, what I set up was 3 lights. And you'll notice they're labeled red, green, and blue. However, they're all just white. There's a reason for that. And that's because I want to change their colors in post, not right here. So I put those all in their own collection. And then up here, this is the view layer section. So to make a new view layer, you click this little button and just make a new one. You can also copy settings or make a blank one. I just usually do new and then rename it. I've already set this up. So let's see. When I go to red, you'll see that the collections blue and green are now turned off and only red is on. If I do green, we see that's the same thing for green. So in the compositing, what this looks like is I wonder where it went. That's okay. I rendered the image out already. So normally your render layers come out like this, and this is a render layers node, and you'll see right here we've got the layer main, but also all the others. So in this case, I'm just using those others. So red, green, blue. But since you're just receiving the file, I'll just replace this anyway. And I want you to set this up from scratch. It's really easy, but I'll show you how to do it. So in this case, we're gonna make that a little bigger. Just like the render layer node, the image node has a composite or a layer section here. So I'm going to do, we're going to replace these. And I'm going to hit Shift D to duplicate this 3 times. And this is going to be green. And this one is blue. Yeah, so blue, red, green, blue. Okay. We can get rid of this. All right. So the setup here, let me fix this. All right. So this is just simple Photoshop type stuff. So in order to change the light color, I'm using a multiply. So this is a mix node, and we've got all these different things that I'm sure you've seen in Photoshop, things like that. So I switch this to multiply and then add an RGB node. And then when we change the color, watch what happens. And then down the line, so I do that with each of the render layers. And then out of the multiply nodes, we do an add with each. So we make the blue or green, green, make red, a little bit more red, and blue, blue. And then make sure that the last add is going out to the viewer. And in your image editor, set this to viewer node. And then you can save this out. You can save it as a PNG and then turn that in. So I want to see that saved out image, and then also a screenshot of your node tree. All right, and that's how you can do some light color changing in Blender in post.